Our next speaker is Bob Dutkowski, who is the CEO of Tech Data. Tech Data, by the way, is the largest public company in Florida. But first, I got a sports story to share. They say that sports is sort of a metaphor for life, because in sports, what you have to do is you have to work hard, you got to practice hard, all for some success that will come in the future. Well, when Bob Dutkowski was a teenager, he was a baseball star in high school. He could hit, he could run, he could throw. He was so good, in fact, that he got a baseball scholarship to Cornell, which is an Ivy League school. And it was during his freshman year that Bob's baseball coach threw him a curveball. Not literally, figuratively. He told Bob that he's a great ball player, but he probably wasn't going to have much success in college baseball. And Bob had dreams of becoming a professional baseball player, but his coach said, not going to happen. He said, you're going to have a problem, I think, hitting curveballs. It's just the feeling I have, and I've been coaching a long time. He said, but I do have an alternative plan for you if you're willing to do this, which will allow you to stay on the team. And he says, I think you've got a great arm and you could be a great pitcher. But it's going to take a year. But I'll work with you. We'll have coaches work with you for a year so you could become a pitcher, play on this team. Now here you are, freshman in college. You've been a baseball standout. What would you do? What did Bob do? He became a pitcher. And he got to play for Cornell for 4 years. Now, he didn't go into pro baseball, but he did join IBM, one of the greatest companies in America. And he went through their sales program, became a great salesman, went through the management program, became a great manager. In 1993, IBM was going through a hard time. That company really was struggling as never before. And an outside CEO was brought in, a fellow named Lou Gerstner. He didn't know anything about the industry. He'd come from Nabisco, of all places. But IBM needed a turnaround CEO. And out of all the ranks of IBM, Lou Gerstner picked Bob Dutkowski to be his right-hand man, to help him acclimate to the company, figure out what was going on, and help him with this turnaround. And it was a success. And Bob Dutkowski learned what it takes to run one of the largest Fortune 500 companies in the world and how to be a CEO. And he took that knowledge and became CEO of other companies, particularly technology companies, over the years, and had great success. Now, fortunately for the people in the Tampa Bay area, in 2006, Bob moved to the Pinellas County area, to Tampa Bay, to run Tech Data, which, as I mentioned, is the largest public company in Florida with $27 billion in revenue. It's a Fortune 100 company, headquartered in Pinellas, and does business in more than 100 companies. And it's all that practice and all that preparation that made Bob Dutkowski the right guy to do that. Now, Bob did not become a professional baseball player, but he did become a great CEO, and he's batting 1,000 as one of Tampa Bay's greatest CEOs. Bob?
Good morning. How about that introduction? So if anybody wants to come up, anybody have a connection with the Rays? Because I still think I could pitch and maybe help them out. Well, I'd just like to thank Warren and Ziva for the invitation to speak here this morning. And I have to admit, it's rather intimidating. I've only ever been on that side of this stage before as a patron who comes here and sees the arts. And so it's really interesting to stand up here and look out over the group and think what the artists must think when they look out over the audience. I'm going to try to accomplish a few things this morning. I thought that Steve did a marvelous job of describing the philosophy and theory behind leadership and what it takes to be a successful leader and to paint a vision of leadership. I thought Les brought us much closer to the ground as he described the individual philanthropist and tried to get you behind the mind and the soul of the people that bring money to these important organizations. My objective this morning is to try to paint a picture for you of how a corporation thinks about philanthropy. And I'm going to try to do that through the eyes of my company, Tech Data, and as an important player in the economy and the ecosystem here in Tampa Bay. I'm going to use our company as a benchmark for you. Not all companies are alike, as you'll see, but I think you'll get a good flavor for how a big company thinks about its responsibility and how it approaches philanthropy. I want to thank each and every one of you and your organizations for the great work that you do in our community. Our company, Tech Data, has been in the Tampa Bay area now for 40 years. We like to think that we're one of the anchor stores here in this community, but we could not be successful. We could not stay in Tampa Bay. We couldn't continue to flourish the way that we do without the good work of every one of your organizations. So the people that you represent, the organizations that you represent, the good work that you do, on behalf of Tech Data and all of the corporations here in the community, thank you for what you do. We really, really, really appreciate it. And I want to offer one other important thank you. A good friend of ours, Diana Baker, who's been in the United Way here in Tampa Bay for 35 years, will retire next month. And I think many of you know Diana. You know the impact that she's made on our community. She's been instrumental in creating one of the more powerful, well-managed United Way organizations in the world. And we're going to dearly miss her leadership and her vision and the contribution that she makes to the community. And we're going to dearly miss her friendship. So I just ask us all to give a rousing round of applause for Diane. Wherever you are, Diana, stand up. There she is. The bad news is that Diane is going to retire. The good news is she's just moving on to the next chapter in her life, and she will continue to have a major impact on people and on our community. So, Diana, thank you for everything that you've done for us. You know, as I was trying to figure out what I might talk about with you this morning, one of the things I did was reach out to a few of the other big companies in the Tampa Bay area to just ask them about how they view philanthropy, how they view their responsibility. And three big companies jumped off the list really quickly. Raymond James and its commitment to the arts, Sykes and its Heroes program that it recognizes first responders, and J-Bill really with a real acute focus on employee engagement in philanthropic organizations in Tampa Bay. Tech Data has a different approach, but there's a common thread that runs between all of these companies. And again, I'll use my company as a benchmark so you get that feeling. Now, I'm going to shamelessly talk about Tech Data, and I'm going to shamelessly educate you a little bit on the soul of the company before we go into how we approach philanthropy. So if you'd bear with me, I'm going to quickly show you a quick movie that'll highlight some of these bullet points. You know that we've been in the market now and in Tampa Bay now for 40 years. This is our 40th birthday, a pretty remarkable accomplishment for a technology company. With over 9,000 employees around the world, about 1,700 of us are based here in Clearwater. As Jeff said, we sell about $26 billion of things a year. To put that in perspective, that's $100 million a day of sales. And our average order size is under $2,000. Now, you see if you had your calculators, you'd be trying to figure. The way I describe it is that's a lot of things that move through our company every single day. And that's earned us a ranking on the Fortune 500 list and has earned us the distinction of being one of the most admired companies in the world. But I'd ask you to just watch this quick video. Who you'll see here are both some Tech Data employees. You may know some of the people that'll flash by. You'll see some of our customers, you'll see some of our partners, and you'll see some of simply the most powerful people in the technology industry describing Tech Data and its value. So let's roll the video. Success starts with a dream of a better day,
of a more fulfilling life,
of a thriving business,
of a rewarding career.
Of a rewarding career.
We had a vision.
One that transcended boundaries.
One that would transform dreams into reality.
But visions are never accomplished alone.
Partnerships are essential.
Partnerships are essential.
I deserve partners I can count on.
People I know I can trust.
Someone who shares my aspirations.
Who cares about our business as much as we do.
As much as I do. As much as I do.
Someone who knows the IT channel.
And has been there before.
and has been there before.
With the know-how that only 40 years of experience provides.
And a track record fortified by integrity and transparency.
A partner with the right solutions.
With the right people.
Capable of handling our customers' needs.
Whether large or small.
Locally.
Locally.
Or across the globe.
Or across the globe.
Alrededor del mundo.
That partner?
That partner
Is Tech Data.
Tech Data.
Entrenched by our roots.
We are well equipped for the present.
And prepared for a bright future.
A future where our business
And that of our customers.
Is driven by the determination to execute.
The foresight to diversify.
The agility to adapt to the evolution of technology.
A future where innovation and customer service go hand in hand.
With a common goal.
With a common goal.
With the common goal.
Success.
Ours.
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 And yours.
Wow, it's been an amazing 40 years. I can remember when I first started it with Tech Data and bought the company from my father, the first thing he told me was that partnerships were the key to our success. And ever since then, we have made partnerships front and center, the most important thing that we care about. That is serving our customers, serving our vendors, and other stakeholders in the company.
Tech Data is focused on execution, diversification, and innovation. Our strategy, by focusing on those three elements, allows us to serve our customers and our vendors more efficiently and effectively than any partner in the channel.
Over the years, Dell and Tech Data have built a great relationship that has helped both of our companies grow.
And with partners like Tech Data, we're better able to be connected with our customers and deliver our solutions and services quicker and much more efficiently than ever before.
Tech Data is one of our most important partners.
This is about how you form relationships, not just during the good times when it's very easy to have a good relationship, but when we experience challenges together.
The opportunities ahead of us are huge as we deliver world-class solutions that drive our customers and our partners' success. On behalf of the entire Dell team, best wishes in the years ahead.
We look forward to an even stronger future, working together.
We value our partnership with you and look forward to a great future together.
It's truly an honor to congratulate one of the world's great companies and one of our very best partnerships on a global basis. Congratulations on the first 40 years, and here's to the next 40. We look forward to being your partner throughout that entire time.
While many things have changed in the IT world, the one thing that's remained consistent is Tech Data's focus on serving its customers and its vendor partners. That focus makes us the partner of choice in the industry, and we're committed to continue to be that partner for the next 40 years and beyond. You know, I thought we'd show that video because it solidifies in our DNA the importance of partnerships. And we like to think that, that much of what we do together, and I think many corporations view their partnership or their relationship with your organizations and the good work you do as truly partnerships. Partnerships are in our DNA. We could not be successful without partnerships, and we like the idea that we're able to partner with your organizations. The other point I would make is just a couple of weeks ago, we announced and did the grand opening of an addition to our corporate headquarters. And we like to say that we doubled down in the Tampa Bay area. We had the opportunity to move Tech Data corporate headquarters to virtually any city in America. They all wanted to throw tax advantages at us, and also move to another place in the world. But we chose Tampa Bay because of how important it is to our people, to our workforce. We're betting that you and your organizations are going to help us continue to make Tampa Bay the best place to work and to live and to raise a family. You know, we like to think of corporations as cut out of molds, but the reality of it is no two corporations are alike. And as you think about how you approach a corporation from a giving perspective or from a partnership perspective, I think it's really important that you take the time to learn about what makes that company work and what are the unique characteristics of that business so that you can target your conversation with that business in a very, very focused way. I want to point out a couple of companies and walk you through these differences, and then hone in on who the decision makers are and who the constituents are inside of a company that are very important. So we picked the list of the Fortune 500 that just came out back in the springtime. And you could see that, I hope you can read that in the back of the room. Tech Data at number 111 is in some really nice company. We're bigger than American Airlines. We're bigger than Nike. We fall in just a few slots behind McDonald's. Those are big, global, I hesitate to say in quotation fingers, rich companies. Look at the sales performances of those companies. McDonald's, $28.1 billion. Tech Data, $26.8 billion. Nike, $25.8 billion. Lots and lots and lots of sales capacity that goes through these businesses. Consequently, you would think that all of these companies have billions and billions of dollars on a discretionary basis to move around to their employees, to their shareholders, and into the community. But here's the reality of these companies. McDonald's at number 106 with $28 billion in revenues has a profit margin of 31%. Multiply 31% times 28 billion, I'm sorry. You get around $7 billion in profit that McDonald's creates every single year. They have to invest in the business. They have to invest in their employees. They have to upgrade their restaurants. They have to reward their shareholders. And they have to contribute to the community. Nike, $25.8 billion. Notice the operating margin there. About a third of what McDonald's makes. So multiply 13% times 25 billion, and you get roughly $3.5 billion that Nike has to invent new products, build new headquarters, train their employees, get Michael Jordan to sign up with them, and contribute to the community. Tech Data. Number 111, $26.5 billion. Notice that profit margin. 1%. Multiply 1% times 26 billion, and you get about $270 million. Fortune 500 company, right there with McDonald's and Nike, but literally a quantum leap behind in terms of the profit that our model generates. We still have to reward our shareholders. We still have to build new buildings. We still have to train our employees. We still have to market our company, and we have to contribute to the community. I walk you through this example because if you come to Tech Data and give the same philanthropic proposal that you would give to a Nike or a McDonald's, we simply can't address it. We can't step up to it. It's not that we don't want to. It's that the model that our company has doesn't generate the same kind of profitability as other Fortune 500 companies. So it's very, very important that when you start to target companies and target initiatives around companies, that you look at this kind of data before you just send a proposal into the company. There are really 4 groups of constituents in a public company or a large corporation that have an equal voice in establishing the philanthropic strategy of the company. Clearly, the shareholder. The shareholder invests in the company, and they expect a return for their investment. Those profits that I described to you, the shareholder believes those profits belong to them. They trust management to invest those profits to continue to make their investment be strong. And most boards of directors and shareholders believe that it's very, very important that a company be involved in the community. In fact, some corporations will have a matching program for their board of directors. So if a board of director contributes to a charity, the company will match that in some cases. It's a pool of opportunity that you should make sure that you explore when you approach larger public corporations. The management team has a responsibility to not only manage that profit that's created, but they have a responsibility to make sure that the company remains vibrant in the community, that it can attract and retain talent. And so consequently, much of the work that you do to make the community more vibrant is important to the management team. It's why you'll find in large corporations, management teams are involved in your organizations. Just at Tech Data, we have over 50 of our managers and executives that work with your organizations in some capacity. And these individuals bring extremely deep management skills that they can sit on your board of directors, for example, and help you run your business more successfully. It's important that we're involved in your organizations at that level because we depend on the good work you do in the community to make this a good place to live and work so we can attract the right people to drive our business. And then lastly, as I've touched on, the employees. Your organizations help our employees live and work in Tampa Bay. When things are good, you're there to support them. When they're in trouble, you're there to support them. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, but I have a tie on that has a little red cross on it because my wife is on the board of directors of the American Red Cross. And she constantly reminds me that the Red Cross, and my Red Cross friends that are out here, here's a paid political announcement, but my wife constantly reminds me that when things are bad, that's when the American Red Cross steps in. When Tech Data employees desperately need help, the American Red Cross is there for them. That's the importance that organizations play to make our employees feel comfortable about living and working in Tampa Bay. These 4 groups, the shareholder, the board of directors, management team, come together, not only in Tech Data, but in every company, and they build the philanthropic strategy of the company. In the case of Tech Data, we landed on education, children, and healthcare. I heard Les say a few minutes ago, if you came to a philanthropist and asked for a donation, and you asked for a donation outside the things they felt were important, you were never going to get any place. Corporations think exactly the same. Now think if you're a corporation, why would education, children, and healthcare be important to Tech Data? Well, first of all, healthcare is one of the most expensive line items on our P&L. So if healthcare is better managed, more available, our costs go down. Not only that, our employees stay healthy and they come to work. And they have healthy children. And if healthy children learn to be healthy and learn good lifestyles through powerful education systems, it all kind of comes together. It's important that you find out what that philanthropic strategy is from the companies that you target when you go to try to raise funds. If you come to Tech Data and ask for something outside of that arena, you're probably not going to get a response. You will get a response, though, if you have our employees engaged. And that's the second place where companies really focus, is if an employee comes to us and says, I am personally committed to such and such an organization, I give my time. By the way, Tech Data gives our employees 2 days off a year paid to work in the community in any way they think is appropriate. And they come forward with a proposal. It goes to a committee that's managed by our employees, and they determine if Tech Data should make a contribution to that business or that organization or not. So even though these may be the areas that the corporation is focused on, there's another outlet in large corporations typically, and that's around employee engagement. We award one of our employees the Volunteer of the Year award every year. And the person that won it a couple of years ago actually started a 501c3 that took care of pets for families that were in trouble when the economy fell apart. Think about it. If you have a pet and you have kids and you're laid off, the pet care probably falls to the bottom of the list. So she started a 501c3. She went around to vets around the Tampa Bay area. They donated their time and the supplies to take care of these animals. And she was recognized as the Volunteer of the Year inside of our company. Had nothing to do with the company's strategy. My point is, don't take no for an answer, but make sure you target very carefully when you go at a company and its employees for financial support. You could see our strategy in action around the community. I just picked out a few initiatives where we really are focused. One is around our support of Academy Prep. Interestingly enough, we have executives on the board of directors of Academy Prep in Hillsborough and in Pinellas, so we're engaged in that educational institution. We donate technology for the kids to use and for the school to use to be able to run the school better. And we recently formed a partnership with the Rays. You probably have heard it. None of my interest in baseball came into play here, but you know, when the Rays turn a double play, you'll hear the Tampa Bay doubles up on the radio and on TV, and we donate $250 to Academy Prep for the first double play in every game. And this is the first time in 40 years that we've ever put up a signage in a ballpark. But you probably can't read it in the back. It says, Tech Data proudly supports Tampa Bay. It's not targeted in anything. It's just our commitment to this community. The United Way, we've been a staunch supporter of the United Way now for over 20 years. I think our last couple of years of donations, again, employee-based, were records. And the United Way has recognized us and recognized our people that drive our campaign as one of the better ones in the community. And then lastly, I'd put up the annual golf tournament because I think it speaks again to this idea of employee involvement and finding a way to get our employees involved. We have a couple of employees that are engaged in Make-A-Wish Foundation and Children's Dream Fund. They came to us and said, how about if Tech Data runs a golf tournament? We'll do all the work. We'll raise all the money. We just want to put kind of Tech Data's name on it. And all the proceeds would go to Make-A-Wish and Children's Dream Fund. Completely bottoms up, started by our employee base. That golf tournament now has raised over $250,000. It averages now, we think this year it'll raise about $150,000. All of it is done by our employees. And so that idea that bottoms-up activity with employee involvement is fundamental to driving a program around a corporation. Again, I'm giving you Tech Data's example. All the large corporations in the community have that same kind of initiative that you can get involved in if you connect your organization and the company's employees. So let me just summarize a couple of points that I think are important when you think about corporate giving and philanthropy at the corporate level. The first is, no two companies are alike. You have to target your program and your initiative, your proposal, very much to what makes the company work and how it's able to create a pool of profit that's able to be shared in the community. You need to understand how the company thinks about philanthropy. You need to understand what that strategy is that the company has. It's important that you understand the stakeholder influence. Typically what happens is you come to the CEO of the company, but there's all those other influencers that are very, very important and can help drive dollars your way, but you have to approach them the correct way. Like I said earlier, you have to understand what the philosophy is of the corporation. And don't get frustrated if you go at a company and they give you a quick no back. Find some employees in that company that will get engaged in your organization. The company will back you up at that point. And be aware, timing is really important. You know, these, especially public companies, we have an internal clock that runs every 90 days. you see where public companies report their quarterly results every 90 days. My company, Tech Data, reported its quarterly results this morning. And we reported record sales and record earnings. What do you think the mood would be in the company today for one of your proposals that come across our desk? Versus a few quarters ago when we were scuffling, there was just no way we could think about it. Timing is really important. So be cognizant of how the companies that you're targeting are performing and use timing to your advantage. And then lastly, people give to people. And if your organization approaches a cold, hard Fortune 100 company with a cold, hard letter saying, would you support our thing? It's not going to be the same as if you pick up the phone and ring us and say, we'd like to come and sit down and talk to you. And we'd like to articulate what we're worried about, the value we are adding to your community, and can you help us? How can you say no? But a cold, hard letter just doesn't cut it the same way. So think about that people give to people idea. Les Muma gives to USF, but he really gives to the people that make USF work. Tech Data gives to these organizations that I've described, and all of the other big companies in the community do because they have a visceral connection to other people and really work hard to make that work. I can't thank you enough for all that you do in our community. Tech Data is committed to this community because of what you bring to it. And we're relying on you to continue to deliver the value that you do. You can count on us that we'll be here to help you with that. And then secondly, thank you for all the individual great work that you do. You make a difference in our community, and we count on it. And then lastly, again, I'm flattered that Warren and Ziva asked me and Tech Data to be here this morning, and I hope that you can walk away with a few good ideas to go continue to do your great work in the community. Thank you very much.